And joining us right now, very happy to say, welcoming back Pat Boone, legendary singer, TV host, and number 10 all-time recording artist on the Billboard charts. Hello, Pat.
Hi, Steve. I'll come on your show anytime just to hear your introduction.
Well, I got to tell you, I got to confess. While we were, before we hit the air here, you were doing some like boom, boom, boom. Would you mind doing that, or is that asking? I love it. I love it. Thank you very much. All right, listen, before we get to a great piece that you just wrote, America's Rejection of God and Can It Be Reversed, what's your take on all this with the Hillary and the passing out and the health records and Trump on Dr. Oz and they want his health record? What do you think the public's going to make of all this?
Well, I tell you, Steve, my prayer, it won't surprise you that I not only pray about these things, urge other people across this country to pray for God's guidance. And one of the things I pray for is that hidden things come to light. That's a scripture, so that everything can be revealed. You know what? I even am applauding this guy, Assange, and of course the other people who are coming up with, like Tim Whitten and the Judicial Watch. They're finding out things we need to know about what the incumbents have done, and what their motives have been, the way they're operating, what kind of people they are, whether they're abusing the Constitution or not, ignoring it, the three powers. And I think when Colin Powell, some of the documents that he never dreamed would be exposed, in which he was expressing how he really felt about this Secretary of State under which he was having to serve, that those things are things we need to know. Yeah. So that, we've got the toughest decision of our lives and maybe of American history between two candidates, and a majority so far of the voting public doesn't really want either one. However, we're going to have to choose. And I have been saying that those who did not, on the Republican side, who did not and still have not endorsed Trump are the losers. Because when he wins, or if he wins, then they're on the outside looking in. If he loses, they're partly responsible for what happens.
So are you, Pat, one of the deplorables? Are you in the basket with me and the others, basket full of deplorables?
Yes, by Hillary's by Hillary's definition, I'm scurvy. I'm horribly bad, deplorable.
What'd you think of that? I mean, what contempt she was showing for the American public.
Yeah, and that was an off-the-cuff remark, and now her handlers are trying their best to make her stick to the written script that's been written for her, because so often when she goes off script and when she says what she's really feeling, it turns out to be a very unwise move on her part. So, yes, that is a mirror. It's a picture of how this administration and the, quote, progressives look at all the rest of us who still cling to the Constitution, who still cling to the Bible, who still cling to moral traditional views. Yes, in fact, when Hillary spoke last year at a women's conference, and I'm sure you know this, it was about abortion, the topic abortion, speaking to women, and she said, we've got to get rid of these old-fashioned restrictive religious ideas and moral codes. We've got to get rid of all of that, the kind of things that made us who we are, but they're in our way for the political agenda that we have.
No, you're absolutely right, and that takes us right into, she also said that unborn baby in the womb has absolutely no constitutional rights. That should be noted as well. So let me ask you about your piece, your great piece, America's Rejection of God, Can It Be Reversed? I mean, you gave an example there, small example, and you talk about abortion there, but how can we reverse the vilifying of God in many quarters, and where this country has been going and where we seem to be headed?
Well, first of all, we have to acknowledge that God has not abandoned us. We have abandoned him. We've allowed those in charge in various ways to take God's name off of our buildings. to prevent even Christmas displays, even saying, they tried to prevent saying Merry Christmas as if that was an offense to somebody. And they won't let school kids say prayer before the beginning of a school day, even a voluntary silent prayer, because that's a recognition of religion, or supposedly an establishment of religion. It is not. It's simply a recognition of what the Declaration of Independence, Mr. Separation of Church and State, Thomas Jefferson, put in our Declaration. We acknowledge these truths to be self-evident. All men are created equal and endowed by their Creator.
Right.
These unalienable rights, life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness. And that was not an establishment of religion. It was a recognition of acknowledged, unalterable fact. Even Einstein and Stephen Hawking have acknowledged that the cosmos, everything we know, creation, is so far beyond our imagining, and it couldn't have happened accidentally. So there must be an intelligence. They don't want to call it God, but it is a recognition of an intelligence that we believers certainly do call God and always have. So if we allow this to happen, we shove God aside. He is a gentleman. He'll step aside, as he did with Israel. Oh, you want kings. You don't want to be governed by the Mosaic covenant and the judges. You want kings like the other nations around you? Okay, I'll step back. They had their way. There was a steady succession of kings. There were 2 or 3 good ones like David, but most of them became more and more corrupt until they went into total oblivion, destruction, Babylonian captivity. And at that point, God says, well, how's it going? Would you like to invite me back into the picture? And in 2 Chronicles 7:14, he says, if my people called by my name, that is my family, those who believe in me, will seek my face, pray, turn from their own wickedness, I will hear from heaven, I will forgive their sin, I will heal their land.
Pat,
He is waiting. He's waiting for us to call him back in. And if we do, then we can have an America again.
Well, I pray that you're right, and I'm sure that it will happen. Pat, thank you very much. So always great to talk to you. Thank you so much. All right.
Hopeful.
Pat Boone, ladies and gentlemen. Now, earlier today, folks, during Newsmax TV's America Talks Live, I spoke with Newsmax TV insider Julio Rivera and the GatewayPundit.com founder Jim Hoft in a political panel, and I think you aren't going to want to miss it. So we're going to bring it to you right after this, right here on the Steve Malzberg Show. Don't go away.